Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Mother of Karma, and I'm back with a life testimony. Long story short, I'm going to be telling you about my life and living in Las Vegas and the things that I have been through. But I just want to say thank you for coming to my channel. Please feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you don't, I know you'll be back within time. And it's not really about the numbers to me. It's just the fact that my message gets out there, and I know it will end up in the hands and being a inspiration someday to other people who are silenced and do not speak on the things they have been through or publicly speak about it, because I feel like a lot of the people in this world I won't say a lot of the people in this world have gone through everything specifically that I have, but they have experienced something relative or relatively close. So we're doing big things, okay? So I am going to start off by saying I moved out of my parents' home in 2016. In 2016, I graduated high school in May, and right the day after graduation, I went to go live with my biological father in New Jersey. While I was living in New Jersey, I did like one semester of college there, and after that, that following December in 2016, I moved to California to go live with my first brother and my second sister. My mom's been married 3 times, so I went to go live with my first stepdad. My biological father was never really in my life consistently like that, but we did go, me and my blood sister, we did go visit our dad, for holidays and stuff like that. So it was when I moved to California, I was working a job, and I won't go too much into detail, but just so that you guys can get like the general of what's been going on, or has gone on. I moved to California, and upon living in California, I got into a lot of like negative energies as far as like the family, like it was not what I expected, i.e. the grass was not greener on the other side. I ended up like falling into lustful energies and stuff like that, which I am completely healed from now. I rebuke in the name of Jesus Christ, amen. May all their entities be returned to them and their senders. But anyways, upon living in California, I met my child's father and my man at the time, my boyfriend, and we ended up I ended up moving out of my stepdad's home because it was just it just turned into the party house. He ended up having like strippers and just drugs all over the place, even with children in the home, and it was just not a very good place of living. And as much as I tried to fight for my siblings and stuff like that, people kept advocating for it and were like trying to silence me about it, so I just left the nest and did my own thing. Now, we ended up, before I completely left and got all my stuff, we ended up moving into like a different apartment. And upon living in this different apartment, I was arguing with my sister one day, and her grandmother had the nerve to put her hands on me and shit like that. And after that is when I really was like, in high school I used to be a fighter and shit like that, and I did not fight this old woman back. And I didn't put my hands on her. I just let her do her thing, but definitely got her off of me in the whole sense of her like trying to choke me and shit. But I know that I'm gonna be forever blessed because of that, because I didn't smite and beat up an old woman. But there are days where things where my ex has said to me, oh, you should have beat her ass, this and that. But I just let people live with their demons and let it go, because in that moment there was a reason why I didn't just fight her. So she was a retired cop and stuff like that, and not that I feared that, but I knew that she knew people that would advocate on her behalf anyways. So at this time of my life, I've actually been praying that people in the justice system who work for the justice system and work in the light of the system, may they gain power, may they be promoted, may they gain the raises and stuff that they need in order to be able to prosecute those who work in the justice system and are dark energies and evil. Anyways, moving on. So I moved out of this apartment. I moved in with my my children's father, and we ended up living at his mother's house for a while. Then we moved to Las Vegas. But before moving to Las Vegas, we were living in a hotel for quite a bit, and during that time, he gave me a promise ring, okay? And we moved to Las Vegas for the first time, and we ended up having my first son. And after I had my first son, shortly after that, I went back to work. And the whole time of being there, it was kind of all right, but there was like times where he kind of like heavily influenced me to do different drugs, such as it's in the past, but he heavily, like, I mean, manipulatively influenced me to do like LSD and stuff like that. And I'll, beyond that point, I'm very well off. I'm pretty great now. But anyways, so that's just part of the story there. Upon living there, we had like, he had a snake and I had a hamster. I don't know why these animals are coming out as significant, but they are, I guess. And so after we lived in this apartment, December came and we ended up moving out, because we didn't really like, at the time of the way the cost of living was set up in Las Vegas, it was kind of expensive still at the time for where we were living at. And we moved back to his mom's house for a couple months to save money. And that summer, so we moved back in January and then of the following year. And then we stayed in Las Vegas for 1 year completely. And then after the year was up, we moved back to California. And that summer of being in California, around, I want to say May, it was like spring break-ish time, so May, June, July, so around like June-ish, May, like around June, yeah, it was June. Me and my son went to my mother's house in Georgia to go visit for the summer. And while I was there, I had found out that my children's father was cheating on me. So, I argued with him and all that, did the arguments and all that shit the whole time I was gone, and just really started ignoring him and stuff like that. And I should have stayed in Georgia then at that time, but I didn't, because me and my son had all of our stuff still in California, and who's gonna go get it? You got to be a grown woman and get your shit at that point. But upon me and my son returning to California, we didn't return to California. We actually moved back to Las Vegas. While we were gone, my children's father, this was significant. When me and my son went to Georgia, I was pregnant at the time with my second child, and it was kind of like it was almost kind of like very heavy on me, because I had just had my first son and I didn't know how I was going to deal with a second one. But I knew that I would be able to be strong throughout anything and be able to handle it. So me and my son, we go to my mother's house, for that summer. And upon being in Georgia for that summer, I was heavily, I was feeling shamed. And, I could just, I'm hypersensitive, and I could just feel, the evil eye, the people of shaming me for being pregnant again, and just being under, shameful attack, dark, I don't know, just dark attacks every fucking day, every fucking second of the day, every night. And so my mother kind of influenced me very heavily into getting an abortion. And that's one of the regrets in my life, although you're not supposed to live life in regret. But I just remember the feeling afterwards. And we had to go to Florida to get this, to get the abortion. And this is just the truth. I have nothing to lie about, by the way. And I remember just the feeling afterward. Something spiritually just did not sit right with me. And it was just one of those things to where it was if I don't know if I would have had this child had it came out to be somebody else's child or anything like that, because I don't remember, with my first son, I remember feeling the sperm hit the egg, go in there, all that. It was a powerful feeling. With my second child, conceivement, I did not feel that at all. And so that becomes very important. I've always known my body very, very well, and known when I was sick or was about to be sick, or I've always been able to sense things before they happen. So foreshadowing, predicting, psychicness, ever since I was born, ever since I was a young child. So I ended up getting the abortion in Jacksonville, Florida. And then after Florida, we came back to Georgia, and I finished the summer visit there, and went back to Las Vegas at the time. And I did lie and say that I had a miscarriage to the father, because I did not truly want to cause any more hinder on the situation that we were already going through, because he had cheated on me and stuff like that. And he was denying the situation of him cheating and stuff like that. But the girl ended up reaching out to me through Instagram, so it's just like, you can't hide it at this point. 9:59 on the clock. So that bypassed, you know, I moved back with my son to Las Vegas, and while we were in Georgia, my child's father was, you know, making sure that we had a place in Las Vegas to come back to, because, you know, we were about to, you know, have another child, but more so we still needed somewhere for us to stay. So while I was gone, he was working at this casino job that was like greeting people to do a timeshare tour, in exchange for different like freebies, gifts, dining stuff, like free tickets to go see shows and eat and stuff like that. So after that, I come back to Las Vegas, and he's working this job, but he was like about to be done with it. And when he got done with the job, he ended up helping me get a job there. Well, he ended up like just, you know, telling me the steps of how to go and get the job at that place too, because they were paying very well at the time. So I ended up going to this place as well, to this job as well. And upon me working there, you know, when I came back from Georgia, we had this conversation, and I was telling him, like, I'm not really sexually attracted to you because you cheated on me. You had her in this apartment. Like, it was just a whole shebang. And, you know, energy's a big thing. I could still sense things. And then one motherfucking day, y'all, that's next. Okay. So, and upon me working this job and you know, going to and from work all the time and coming back, while I was working at this job, I actually met a man that worked there, and we ended up like hooking up. And, you know, I didn't really say anything about it because it was more so like a sneaky link, I guess. But at the sense, my body knew that I was not in a relationship. We were literally just co-parenting at that time, and my body and my spirit knew that something was not sitting right at home. So fast forward through like a couple weeks or whatever, I found a fucking eyelash, okay, in the bedroom underneath the bed on the floor. And I was being called crazy and all this shit, and being told that it was my motherfucking eyelash, this and this, but I don't even wear eyelashes. So, you know, being a little foolish, I let this shit slip and let this shit go. And, you know, because I was also guilty of having my own side piece, I guess. But where the fucked up part is you don't bring side pieces into the house around the children. So I'm never guilty of that. I've never brought people around my son, and I've never hooked up with somebody around my son, and that's just the motherfucking blatantly truth. This is like really personal, but it's like, fuck it, you know. I just rather the truth be out about it, because I'm tired of like people trying to tell me about my life, and it's just like, well, if it's already out there, it's out there, and it's just the truth. And I've just been heavily called to share this part of my story with you all, because this reading that I have out right here, this is the big boom of the whole thing. All right, so I had my side piece or whatever, and there was only one time where he picked me up in the middle of the night, and I went out with him, and like we just cruised the freaking city pretty much, and went to the top of the fucking parking garage that's out here in Las Vegas. So after that, I was going to school, and then I ended, like, me and him just ghosted each other, and then I was going to school and stuff like that, and then we ended up working, me and my children's father ended up working at a call center together. And then after the call center got like, I left the call center he left it first, and then I left it after him due to another person that worked there, who I had linked with, and he was just messy as fuck. Like, one of those, I didn't judge the energies right of the person, and he ended up to just be filthy. And, you know, I feel like, you know, I've already called myself filthy for like even linking with him, because he was just not worth my time or energy or anything like that. But when you're in a low vibration, you tend to do things out of your shadow side that ain't even right. But, you know, we look forward, we correct it, we cut it off, and just let it go. So, and that's how you heal. So moving on, I healed myself from that situation, and this is when I had realized that something wasn't right. So me and my children's father are still living in this second apartment in Las Vegas. So this is the second time we lived in Las Vegas, and I came back from this summer in Georgia. When I came back, at this point, we had split ups. Okay, so my children's father went back to his mom's house, and he was like, oh, please let my son stay with me for 6 months so that way you can go to New Jersey with your dad, and get yourself together. And come to find out, he, was abusing my son sexually and is an abusive person, period. And unfortunately, they're very well at covering up the abuse, and now it's just reflected in the behaviors of my son and the way he acts. And dark energy people that practice and focus on the occult and satanic occult and stuff like that, which I've been realizing that they are connected to through so many signs. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty details of that because that's a whole nother video, literally. But once I've realized that that's what they associate with, they hide the abuse, cover it up, and say, oh, the child needs discipline. Motherfucker, the child ain't even fucking 3 years old yet. So you got me fucked up. But yeah, it's just very hard when you're by yourself and nobody, physically wants to help you, but they claim that they do, but it's like only if you're under their control. And that's how these type of people work. That's how these secret societal people, fraternities, whatever you want to call it, that's how they work. So on top of, so my children's father, they're in California, and then I, as a single mother, go to New Jersey. And when I get to New Jersey, I'm just working at this point and trying to make new friends. And that went all right, but I didn't really care for the first two friends that I made. But the last friend that I made was kind of cool, kind of whatnot. But I just ended up ghosting them all after a certain point. But the whole time I was in New Jersey, right, the guy that I linked up with in Las Vegas at the casino job, his name kept popping up into my head over and over and over, almost like he was trying to telepathically communicate with me, and I wasn't understanding what the fuck he wanted. But come to find out, he's been trying to he was trying to communicate. I took it as a warning sign, but also not. So this was 2020, and I got to my dad's house in March of 2020 when COVID hit, and I moved, and my son stayed in California with his dad for 6 months. So fast forward 6 months, it's now August 27th, and I fly to California to go pick up my son. And the morning of me picking up my son, my biological father was sexually assaulted and groped me. So at that point, I'm like, yo, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Because this is my place of living. Me and my mom kind of have a rocky relationship, and it wasn't really an option for me to stay with her at that point. And I was just more so what the fuck is going on? Why is this happening to me? And this is because God was giving me the revelations of having to expose these people, even my own family, which is fucking sickening, but it's just the truth, and it has to get out there. So upon that very morning, and y'all, let me just tell you, we were driving to the airport, and it was 4 o'clock. It was 3:45, 4 a.m. And in order to get to the airport from New Jersey, you have to cross a bridge, and it's called the Ben Franklin Bridge. No, not the Ben Franklin. Ben Franklin? There's multiple bridges that you can cross, but I don't think that was the one that we crossed. But anyways, we crossed the bridge no. It was a smaller bridge. But anyways, we crossed the bridge to get to New Jersey and to get to the Philadelphia airport. And as we crossed this bridge, you could literally see 5 miles behind us all the cars of the city waking up to go to work. And these were people that still had jobs during COVID. So in this car, as we crossed the bridge, I had 3 pieces of bacon on my left thigh on top of a napkin, because my dad had made bacon for me for breakfast that morning before we left. So we smoked weed together before we left to go to the airport because I was going to sleep the whole flight, and it's just a thing. So, but he works for a government job, and I don't even know if he was allowed to be doing that. But anyways, we go to the airport. We drive to the airport, and as soon as we cross this bridge, I'm on the last piece of bacon. I'm like, here, I'm full. I asked my dad, do you want the last piece of bacon? He said, no, give it to the dog, because the dog was sitting in the back seat. So I reached back to give the piece of bacon to the dog, and then my dad snatches it, after I just asked him if he fucking wanted it, snatches the pieces of bacon out of my hand and eats it. And I'm just like, okay, that was fucking weird. So I crumpled up the napkin on my lap, and then I just held it in my hand, and I'm looking out the right mirror, looking at all these cars behind us, and that's when he had said, it's like the whole city just woke up. And then shortly after that, that's when he like put his hand over my, like, cause I'm sitting straight up like this. So like you're sitting at a L angle. Here's like, you know, your legs, and here's your back, and here's your butt, and here's your freaking front part. So he like puts his hand over that part, and I just like smacked his hand away, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, I was just in shock. Like, I didn't even know what to say. I just cussed him out, and I was like, you're a pedophile. What the fuck you do that for? And this nigga had the audacity to say, don't act like you haven't thought about it. That is just filthy to me. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, it's just sickening to me that this is how people think. And this is how people really, really, you know, like, this is how people really perceive you, even if you're their child. And in my text messages, once I got to California and, you know, talked to him about the situation, he was like, oh, I never, you know, touched or tried to sleep with anybody that wasn't at least 18 years old. Like, are you serious? It doesn't matter how old I am. I'm still your fucking child. So anyways, you know, sick as fuck. Rebuke him in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. And, you know, I've just been trying to live ever since then. And I get to California, and I tell my children's father what happened, and then he ends up finding us a new place in Las Vegas after we both went and worked at this warehouse job in California and made money so that we could move. Now, here's where it gets very interesting. I have to say, before I left to pick up my son, I had just had a period, okay? And upon being, you know, there from August, September, and October, I had already had my August period. I had my period in September, and then I had a period in October. And then in December, when we were in our new apartment, we moved into our new apartment in November of 2020. And being in this new apartment where I'm currently still at, this is where, in that following December of 2020, I found out I was pregnant with my second son. Now, back up to when I told you when I was in New Jersey, the guy that I had met and linked up with at the casino was popping up into my mind repetitively, okay? And in December, I found out I was pregnant with my second son, having him, and I don't remember at all the moment of conception, okay? I don't remember feeling that burst of, you know, high vibrational energy of when I conceived him or nothing. So, and I pay attention to these things when I am, you know, having intercourse and stuff like that, because I always made my children's father pull out because I didn't want no more children. So I end up finding out, and the way I found out I was pregnant was just random, and it was just out of nowhere. So yeah, we moved into this new apartment in early October. End of September, early October 2020. And because I had started a dental job out here in Las Vegas that was like 7 a.m. to freaking 5 p.m. every single day. And I had an hour lunch break. And every time I was on my lunch break, I would call my children's father just to talk to him and talk to my son. And, you know, I never met nobody on my lunch break. I never associated with anybody because we were in this little building, this little business plaza. And that just wasn't my focus at the time. Like, my focus was on my money, running it up, because I'm, you know, trying to provide and to have a savings account and be that bitch and be up there and be stable. So I was working this dental job until January of 2021. In January of 2021, y'all, like, no shit, from January to like May is when I started noticing the guy that I linked up with at the casino years ago when I lived in Vegas in 2019, his name kept popping up into my head. So at this point, I'm taking it as a warning, because I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on? How, like, why is he popping into my mind? He took the initiative to ghost me, and I just let it go, like, ghost the whole situation. So now I'm like, what the fuck does he want, right? And I'm feeling that. And now that I'm, like, putting the pieces together and reflecting on the situation, God was talking to me about this man. They were both warning me, okay? Now, the whole time, I have reason to believe that the whole time I was working at this dental job, this the guy that I met, my sneaky link from the fucking casino, was coming over into my house with my children's father, okay? And I'll tell you how I know this. I had a vision that, and I was seeing myself through somebody else's eyes. And at this point, I was laying down on the bed, and he walked in and came all the way to the bedroom door and was like, "What you been up to?" And then before that, as I was laying on the bed, and I was seeing myself through my children's father's eyes, and he's like, "It's open," talking about the front door. And he walks in the front door, walks all the way in, and looks at him, stands in the doorway of the bedroom door, and is like, "What you been up to?" Like they were just buddy friends, like on some shit, like almost like set me up, I guess. I don't know. But then I had another vision of answering the front door, and here is my sneaky link at the door, just, you know, looked at me in the eyes and was like, give me a hug, like on some weird, like, feminine energy type thing. So I ended up having my second son in June of 2021, and before June, which was like May, I would say like heavy February, March, April, and May, I was hearing his name over and over and over, and I'm just like, why am I hearing this man's fucking name over and over? I had my son in June, and as my, like, not even a month within my second son being born, right? My children's father is like, who I'm believing to be my second son's father, he denies my second son. And that shit hit me to the core, because I'm like, why the fuck would you even think that this is not your child? On everything I love, I did not sleep with this man, anybody else during this pregnancy. I was not sexually active with anybody to my physical, in my phone, nothing. I was only, you know, having sexual intercourse with my children's father at this point. And I feel like, and I was already pregnant with my second son when I realized, you know, finding out I was pregnant with my second son was a huge surprise, because I do not remember any sexual, I don't remember any sex, because I was like still at this point of like being unsexually active. Like my sexual life has depleted so much from like when I first met him, and we would have sex like once every week. So I would know like that moment of conception and feeling that burst of energy within my body. And I did not feel that with my second son. And then when I found out about it, when I found out I was pregnant with him, it was more so like a tearful moment. Like, it wasn't, like, at first I wasn't happy, because I'm like, how did this happen? Like, I've only been working, and I've been coming home and going to sleep and cooking and cleaning. So, y'all, I'm telling you, my children's father would never really go to sleep when I went to sleep. He would always stay up all night, staying up, and wait for me to fall asleep. And you know what they say, what did you do last night? You know, people that don't go to sleep on schedule with their significant other tend to withhold a lot of secrets and be up to different things, okay? The moon. And, you know, have hidden agendas, I would say. You know, not showing their true self, okay? So anyways, had my second son in June, and my children's father had the nerve to deny him. And I was just like, are you okay, sir? Like, are you really denying him right now? And he really denied him, y'all. And I was just like, okay, whatever. So we moved on, and I just noticed, like, as my second son was growing, he did not really look like my children's father. Especially now, it's just kind of like, okay, my children's father has a lot of explaining to do. And right now, you know, after my second son was born, we went the entire summer. I was working, I was doing what I can, and then at this point I was working a work from home job, so I was always home with my children, and I wasn't going out nowhere. I don't have no friends or anything like that out here. I had one friend who, you know, traveled to Las Vegas and ended up moving here, you know, that I knew in high school when I lived in Germany. But, you know, she fell off because I found out that she got pregnant with my children's father's kids, and the bitch denies it. And, you know, I just let it go and let it fall out because the truth's going to come to light anyways. These people are fucking sick. They're fucking nuts. And they're fucking crazy. So, fast forward to end of September, October of 2021, okay? I had made connection through social media of trying to find the guy who I linked up with in the casino years ago and who fucking kept popping up into my head purposely while I was in New Jersey and while I was in, you know, carrying my second son. And I linked up with them in end of September, early October for the second time ever in my fucking life. And you know, we linked up, we talked and stuff like that, and he kind of questioned my life, and he was asking me, like, you know, he was saying, like, he thinks something was wrong with him, because when I seen him, he looked fucking sick, like, his eyes were, like, sunken in, like, I don't know what he was doing. I may have been different drugs, but when I first met him, he didn't smoke weed or anything like that, but now he was into smoking, and I was just shocked and blown back by the whole thing. And he was a bit younger than me, but anyways, y'all. And I remember during this time, like September, end of September, early October, God screamed at me in my head, get back into tarot readings. And I remember getting on the computer and, you know, at this time, 2021, like September, October, everybody was picking up on necromancy. Okay? And I was just like, what? Like, you know, I didn't really think that these people would really be picking up on this type of energy, but they were. So I was just like, okay. And it started making me think about my situation because I do not remember conceiving my second son at all. And upon meeting, and you know, once I re-linked up with the guy who kept trying to tap into my mental energy, I realized that this is also when I had got the reading revelation of necromancy, and I did some research into figuring out what that was. And it's, if you don't know what it is, look it up. But people are fucking sick, okay? And and my children's father didn't work, so he, you know, would do whatever he could for money, but essentially he was always asking me for fucking money when he needed it. And sometimes he did, you know, end up having money, and I would be like, oh, where'd you get money from? And he was like, oh, I made a flip. A flip? How? If you didn't have no money to start to buy something to make a flip with. So I'm finding out that he would have sex with people for money. And I also found out that he likes having sex with men. And this whole time, your girl didn't know a goddamn thing about it. You know, he hid that very well. And it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, yo, this is just too much. It's just too fucking much. Just too fucking much. So, fast forward to, you know, I linked up with him again. I linked up with a guy from years before. And he was saying how he doesn't feel like something is right. You know, I asked him, because I'm not really on the bullshit. In October is when I was separating with my children's father, and he moved out the first week of November, because I told him, like, I'm not really sexually attracted to you. I'm not really anymore. I'm just not. You denied my son. I'm just really kind of over it. The relationship was really getting to a point where, like, there was no productivity. I literally did Christmas all by myself. He didn't help me buy one fucking thing for my son for Christmas, and it was just at this point, like, and then he denied my second son at that point. And it's just like, why are you playing like you don't know what's going on? If at this moment in time, I'm just kind of like, why are you acting like you don't know what's going on when obviously you know some truth about what's going on? So I linked up with him, and excuse me, just realizing certain things that he said now that I'm reprocessing. He was like, oh, I think something's wrong with me. And then he's like, oh, I just want, you know, that situation to be done with if me and you gonna move forward type shit. And I'm just like, all right. I just literally told you, like, I cut this nigga off, and what you gonna, like, what's gonna give, like, what's gonna do. And I remember after that, he brought me around his friends, and yeah, I could also, I just already knew, like, he was better than all his friends, and he really didn't have good friends. Like, I could just tell right off the bat his friends were not that great. But anyways, I never brought him around my children at all. And to fast forward, that December, okay, so we ghosted again, left the whole situation alone, and that shit really kind of set me off. And then that's when I got into like revenge mode and was just tired of motherfucker, not even revenge mode, but more so trying to understand what the fuck has been going on in my life that I have been kept in the dark about. Because the minute I kicked out I didn't even kick him, yeah, I was so nice, y'all. Almost like as if I was too nice. But separated ways with my children's father, let him move back home to his parents' house. And like his first instinct was to take the kids and go, because he knows I love my kids more than anything. And I put my kids before any man. So, you know, manipulative men who have nothing going for them, they're going to take whatever they can to emotionally sabotage you because you no longer want them. And December came, and my mother in Georgia had planned, you know, a trip for us to go visit her at Christmas time, for Christmas. So upon going to my mother's house at Christmas time, I had to end up picking up my kids early because I had been picking up on energy as this is when I found out he was abusing my children, because I didn't understand at the time. But as I was putting two and two together and realizing why my son just becoming naturally so much more violent, he isolates himself, I've noticed that he gets yelled at for no reason, and that his dad would like hit him with the belt for no reason, and every time I would step in, he would get mad at me and be like, he needs it, this and that. Like, no, he's not. He was only 2. He's not fucking 6, 7, 8 years old. Even still, I feel like that's too young. But 7, 8, all right, maybe so. But at a certain extent, you can't be impatient and try to do what your parents did to you because they, didn't know how to parent correctly. It's all about sitting down and being stern with the child. It's not about inflicting pain upon them in order to gain control over them. Like, that's fucking mind control, a form of it. And it's abusive. And, I noticed that once I started speaking on the abusive behaviors he had, he would get more mad and just storm out and leave the fucking house. So that's when I knew some shit wasn't sitting right. So, y'all, I go to visit my mom for Christmas in December, and I told her about the man that I re-linked up with because I did have a love for him. And my mom was like, oh, you just need to leave him alone. So I'm like, okay. But then, y'all, I had a motherfucking vision while I was there that he was in an RV with my sister and ended up kissing my sister just to see if he would kiss my sister. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like what? And it's just like revelation after revelation. Ever since I kicked out my children's father, I realized like I was sleeping next to the devil, literally. And this is why I stopped smoking weed. The last time I smoked weed, I had a vision that he came to me and shook hands. He's like, I'm the devil, nice to meet you. And that shit really had me stuck. Like, didn't have me stuck, but it really made me question a lot more in my life. So I was like, all right, cool. And I think this is why the other boy's name kept popping up into my head, because he was trying to telepathically communicate with me, trying to get me to wake up to certain things. So these two, my children's father was working with the guy that kept popping up into my head before I was even working there. So in a sense, I'm only sure it was a setup. And every time I seen him, he was always on his phone watching some shit. So he was either stalking my motherfucking social media or talking to him about what the plan or plot was going to be. Alright, so at this point, this most recent December Christmas, go visit my mom. I had that vision, and then I had another vision of him. I had a dream about him. He came to me in my dreams, but he was with the Asian guy from Squid Games, like the one that outsmarted everybody. Not the one that won the games, but the one who stole the marbles from the other guy, from the main character. And they went down in this elevator together. And I had another vision of this being underground at this motherfucking train, like in like a Harry Potter fucking train that was like burgundy and gold, and it was so fucking cold down there. But my first son was down there in the train, and he told me, "Come on, Mom, get in." And I'm just standing off to the side of the train like, you've been, like, how the fuck did you get here? How do you know to get here? And who brought you here? And I can only assume it was his dad. So at this point, it's like a cult, it's giving me very, like, occult vibes. Like, what's going on? Where's this train finna take me? And this train was elaborately put together. Like, it was underground in between rock, dirt walls. And it was just zooming so fast, y'all. So I was like, what the fuck? And like, I just stood there and I took my son off the train because I'm like, no, we're not doing that. So, and after I took him off the train, like I just woke up and the whole dream ended. Then I had another fucking dream while I was there that I was laying on this table and I opened my eyes and I'm surrounded by nothing but grays, okay? If you don't know who the grays are, they're aliens or an alien race. And off to the side was like a taller one, and then I kind of hurt, and as I looked up and like I started smiling, but I went to go touch them, and as I went to touch them and tried to talk to them, they all smiled and, you know, touched my forehead and put me back to sleep. So that shit freaked me out, and I was like, it didn't really freak me out, but it made me wake up out of my sleep. So an out of body experience. So fast forward to I'm on this Christmas vacation, and it's just like my DNA, I had the motherfucking grandest awakening to what was going on. 40 on the clock. Excuse me. And I didn't know what the fuck's going on. Then I started noticing, before I even had any of these dreams, that I was being followed by red and blue cars. And I'm just like, what the fuck, y'all? Like, what the fuck? And then I noticed, like, every time these people around me would say something, it was something subliminal. And I realized that my mom and her man now, which was who became my father, who became the father in the picture in 2009, 10 or 11, one of those years. But anyways, and he's a Mason, and my mom's an ordering Easter Star. And every time I asked them about this, like, they're never about the groups that they're part of, they never are able to tell me anything about it. They always switch the subject very quickly. So upon doing my own research, I figured out that there are secret societies and whatnot. And yeah. So I'm at my mom's house, and it's just like, they're trying to get me to go to sleep. They're trying to get me to eat shit I don't want to eat. Like, I at this point was like on my vegan fast, and like even still I don't really even like eating meat unless it's chicken, but that's rare. And I was just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, the biggest upgrade ever. So I come back, my mom ends up talking to my grandmother there, because I'm like talking about all this stuff that I'm feeling, all this stuff that I'm seeing, and trying to put stuff together in my life. And they're all like, oh, you're crazy, like trying to mock me and shit. So then I'm noticing I'm getting all these bruises and shit all over my body, and I'm just thinking, this is God really communicating to me to wake up to what the fuck is going on. And this is when this reading comes into play. Y'all, when I say I was starting to have revelations and shit like that, like, I mean, when I got there, I had realized that my ex was putting his blood and his urine in my food. My teeth were starting to decay faster from that because he's sick, and I went to go get a blood test done, all types of STDs, all blood tests done like that, even on me and my children. We came out clean, thank God. But it was just one of those, what's going on? Like, my head is fucking spinning at this point. And while I was there, I just try to relax and get over, like, not even get over it, but try to, piece things together. And this is when I started realizing, like, people taking your energy could be as simple as a hug, could be as simple as kissing you on the cheek. And I noticed that my mom's mom, she was a drug addict when she was younger, and had my mom and her brother. So and she used to do drugs with her son. So I don't even know, like, the full scope of that, of what has happened back then. But knowing that I come from a line of fucking drug addicts and shit like that, I can only imagine what the fuck they did to me as a child once they realized I had spiritual gifts and shit like that. Let's just say when I was a child, my mom shaved me and my sister's heads, and blamed it on lice. But the baby boomer generation of parents, and the one before that, the babies that came from the baby boomer generation, and the parents of the babies who came out of the baby boom generation, are responsible for the Twin Towers falling. They are responsible for the MK Ultra systems, and it's just so much to where it's like, what's really fucking going on? So my grandma took me to the hospital one night, And I'm thinking I'm going to the regular doctor to see what's up with all these bruises on my body and why I'm not being able to gain weight, right? No, y'all. They ended up setting me the fuck up to go to a mental psych ward, and them bitches held me there for 4.5 days. And my mom's like, oh, you signed yourself up to go there. This isn't like, no, the fuck I didn't. I checked myself in to go to the motherfucking doctor. I checked myself in, and after I checked in, I'm realizing these motherfuckers ain't finna let me go because y'all sat here and lied to me that it was a fucking doctor's office. Like, this place was completely set up like a regular doctor's office. Got me in there. I'm sitting in the doctor's, you know, in the room with the nice, the motherfucking bed. And next thing I know, they take me next door to another room that has this fucking little psych bed that's chained to the motherfucking floor, and told me, you know, good night. And I'm just like, what? So when I get some money, y'all, I'm really about to sue the fuck out of these people, because why did you set me up to fucking go there? And the thing is, they don't think I know, but my grandma is so damn slow to where I seen my mother text my grandmother's phone before I was even able to put the shit together, that okay, she was like, okay, let me see what else I could do. There's a psych place down the street. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna be able to talk to somebody, like a psychologist or something. No, it ended up being a fucking psychiatric ward. Not a ward where you're like surrounded by all these people, but it was just a psychiatric hole. So y'all, I was like, all right, y'all got me fucked up. And I didn't have a choice because nobody would come pick me up and they wouldn't fucking let me leave. And they had all my stuff, so I couldn't just take my stuff and fucking run. They caused me to miss days at work, which caused me to get penalties at work, which caused me to end up losing my job eventually. And after that happened, I get out. Everybody's like trying to be smiling, all hee in my face and shit like that. Like, I'm just like, no. And then they were trying to get me to stay there till a certain date and time. And I'm just like, okay, what's up with a certain date and time? Like, why y'all not telling me nothing? And I'm telling y'all, all these nights I could not sleep there. I couldn't sleep because shit was just really keeping me up. Like, I remember when I got out, this is when I had those visions of, oh boy. And I was sitting in the bed up watching it. I was actually like researching stuff on my computer, and I was actually watching a tarot reading in another tab. And the next thing I know, I closed my computer and I was just sitting there like meditating and praying. I look out the window, and in Georgia, like, you know, the houses are very spread out and they're kind of like in the woods and shit. So the stars were very bright, and I was just looking at the stars, and them motherfuckers was beaming. And I remember being in the car one night with my grandmother, and we see a motherfucking UFO like literally slowly go across the sky, and it had a reddish orange tail at the end, like they wanted to be seen. So I was just like, what? Like, after I already had seen them in my dreams and had this out of body experience, I was just like, what is going on? So I had this experience, and it was just the most overwhelming energies ever. And I'm just like, okay, y'all need to give me the messages loud and clear so I know what to do. So I was guided to move back to Las Vegas, and to keep myself here. And, you know, upon being here, I'm realizing this shit's lonely by myself. Like, I hate it. I don't hate it, but I love it. Like, I really do love it. And I've also noticed that oh boy keeps trying to go watch one of my previous readings. I just did a reading on it. He was in a reading with Chris Brown, Fast Cars and Shooting Stars or something like that. And I was just like, what? Like, what? Like, what? Like, literally, what the do y'all want? So anyways, you know, they're all kind of trying to call me crazy, but I realized these signs. My mother's mom, my grandma, her car, she had just got a brand new car. That shit was already leaking hella oil, okay? Sign number one. My mom's dad lives with her because he's dying of cancer. And he was going to take me to the DMV one day so that I could get a new license. I mean, so I could go pick up my license because they were trying to get me to move out there. And I realized when I opened the back seat door to put my children in the car, there was a fucking shriveled up dead frog in, like, above the window, like when you open the car door, like in the frame of the door. And I was like, oh hell no, we're not getting in there, because my grandmother's mother, my great grandma, her name was Gigi. She recently passed in January of 2020 or 2019. She loved frogs. She loved frogs to death. Okay, that's her spiritual animal. And Georgia is actually, you know, very good. It has very good vegetation for frogs. And when we were at the pool one day, my youngest sister found a frog with my oldest son, and they were playing with it at the pool. So I was like, okay, noted. And then after we got this frog is when I realized, like, some shit, the energy just wasn't sitting right with me. So, you know, that concluded the trip. They were all trying to get me to stay there, and I was just more so, like, on edge about it. And I just spoke with my mom the other day, and she's still trying to, you know, was trying to tell me to go out there, and I'm just like, I don't know for why. So I had a vision of old boy in a ice cream custard place, and I remember the total being $36.62, and $36.62 or $36.26. But he bought ice cream for my sister, my mom, and my younger sister, and then looked over his shoulder back at me like I was behind him just watching, like from behind, like I astral projected there, but I didn't intentionally set intentions to go there at all when I went to sleep. It's almost as if he brought me there, and I'm just like, what the fuck? So he's like, you could be here too, you know. And I just like slapped him in the back of his head, and I was like, I'm gonna fucking be there. Why the fuck you there? And how the fuck you know my family after my mom just told me to forget about your ass? Like what? So anyways, fast forward. I am figuring out that as my youngest son to this day is getting older, that my youngest son looks like oh boy. But I never had sex with oh boy in order to become pregnant with his motherfucking child. Unless a motherfucker sedated me in my goddamn sleep and allowed him to have sex with me for money, i.e. a necromancer, i.e. a graveyard witch, i.e. somebody who hides a lot of fucking dark secrets. And if you see that there's two people on here, this is, like, to me this is oh boy, to me this is my children's father, and these are all their little minions and people that they have manipulated even in my family to work alongside them. Okay, my children's father, we used to have a husky, so these wolves up here. Okay, and when oh boy introduced me to his friends last year, I realized that one of his friends' last name was Wolf. Okay, and so two wolves being the actual physical dog that my children's father has, who's a husky, and he nicknamed her and calls her Wolfie. And then this nigga, excuse my language, not really, I guess if it came out, oh boy, who's literally a light-skinned boy with curly hair, like basic nigga light-skinned haircut. He has a friend named Wolf. His last name is Wolf. So I was just shocked and like putting all this together, and I'm like, what the is going on? And y'all, as I'm like really realizing, okay, so this is, yeah, just through Instagram, and when I relinked up with him, he had like started recording me on his phone, like, you know, being playful and shit, like recording a Snapchat, trying to, you know, have a memory of me, I guess, or whatever. But I literally, it was just so much going on. So, you know, I come back to Vegas. My children's father comes to pick up my children after I've like been putting up this guard of him not taking them and stuff like that because of all the things I'm putting together, but I don't have proof of it. So it's just one of those things. But at the same time, it's like never go against your motherly instincts. So I'm here to say, don't be me. But I let my children go with their father, and I'm in the process of a custody case battle getting them back. And he essentially kidnapped them, and we verbally agreed to 2 weeks, and he refuses to bring them back. Okay, and he lives 4.5 hours away in Moreno Valley, California. So I did a reading, right? And I just got I was going through so much. When I came back to Las Vegas, I realized, you know, let me start getting into these tarot readings, because at the time I had just had a dream about Drake and Chris Brown, and with my kids, just like, not with my kids, but, you know, once we came back to Las Vegas and we're like relaxing and unpacking in our house, one night I had a dream about Drake and Chris Brown. It's actually one of the first videos that I uploaded, but now that I'm rewatching that video, I feel like I didn't touch on a lot of things that I should have said, so I might redo it, but at the same time, you know, I really don't want to. Man, this is just so much. So I did a reading on it, y'all, and I just asked the Holy Spirit, please show me that oh boy is my second son's father, right? And I'm putting two and two together, and I'm really praying to God, like, there's no way that I'm a victim of necromancy. There's no way. The first card, and I'm telling y'all, all major fucking arcana came out, okay? That says enough within itself. First card out, Wheel of Fortune, okay? This is my abundance, you know, according to God, children are your abundance, okay? Wheel of Fortune also tells me, like, I tend to be the rabbit because I'm not always on time. So I like to associate myself with the rabbit because I know I'm innocent in this entire motherfucking thing. I had no idea of what the fuck was going on behind my motherfucking back. And all these cards on this board symbolize magic, you know, magic, dark ill intent being sent your way. And all the stuff that I was picking up on while I was going through all of this. Dark magic being sent my way, spiritual attacks. Because these cards are not, you know, organized or stacked up anywhere. They're flying all over the motherfucking place. Flying signs, flying colors, flying fucking spaceships, flying every motherfucking thing. And I'm telling y'all, when I seen that UFO, my grandmother saw it too, and she just looked at me and was like, wow, did you see that? Almost like she already knew, like, what was going on and just has not told me. And what the crazy part is about it is, yeah. That's another story for another time. But okay, so then after that, I asked, Holy Spirit, please show me the truth. Please show me that this is true. Justice came out right after that. Do y'all see that queen? That queen is motherfucking livid. And this king right here is scared as fuck. Like, he's almost scared of what the justice is about to be and what the justice being served is about to be. Please excuse my nails. I was gonna redo them before this video, but I just didn't have the patience. I needed to get this out. So then I was shuffling the deck, and I was just like, Holy Spirit, please just tell me what I need to know. And call judgment. Okay, the judgment card came out. Do y'all, the motherfucking rabbit's in the sky. The motherfucking rabbit has a goddamn trumpet. The motherfucking rabbit is in charge of this shit. And at the bottom, there's three people. So I like to call them the three amigos. So the three motherfuckers who plotted against me or upon me in this whole situation. They are getting their hearts ripped out. They are getting their motherfucking soul ripped to shreds. They are having nightmares every single night. And if you look at this rabbit's eye, he's watching. Like, he's like beaming. Listen. Fire truck, cop car, right now. And that's a long ass horn. Like, they just held the horn down for like 3 seconds straight. The rabbit has his fucking eye on these people, and it's almost like this rabbit turned, like, this rabbit almost looks demonic, y'all, like, but that motherfucking ray of sunshine, that motherfucking beam of truth behind him is just shining, all right? And then right under that was the world. And you know what? I just had to stop doing this. I just had to stop shuffling the deck, and I was just like, this cannot be real. So I just paused what I was doing and was like, let me put these on my table. Let me go take a shower, cleanse my energy, and come through this reading. And that is literally what I asked. And I was like, Holy Spirit, please show me if, oh boy, is really my second child's father. The Wheel of Fortune came out, and Justice came out. Meaning, and I've already filed a report on this, so hopefully those in the criminal investigation system are truly doing their job on the behalf of it. But I was just like, no fucking way. Like, I love it. I love the tarot. I love the confirmation that I get from this, because this is literally just proof in the fucking pudding of what's been going on. So, and so when the judgment card came out, immediately God was like, call judgment, call judgment, call judgment. I need you to call judgment right now. And I was like, you got it. And I've already called judgment on this situation before, and it didn't seem like anything had happened in the physical realm, but I'm truly understanding that the power of my words is my sword and sword of truth. And when I speak my truth and I post it online, it just amplifies the energy of what I'm saying. So the world came out right under judgment, and I was like, what the hell? And in this sense is when I realized I'm hearing, she's got the whole world in her hands. She got the whole world in her hands. And I also had a dream of being told, like, seeing the globe and being told, like, and there was like this big ass ribbon that wrapped the globe and was like, you are God. And I'm just like, I am not God. But then I remember seeing a Hindi or a Hindu girl lady with her eyes closed behind the world. It's almost like as if the world was in the middle of all these ancient ancestors around them, and I was in the middle of the world, and as I looked up, I seen all these ancestors just looking down over the earth, looking at me, and that shit shook me to the core. Like, I got goosebumps right now. Confirmation. But I was just like, what is, like, I really just didn't know. Like, there's so much that I don't know, and that's just what keeps telling me. And when I seen her, I was like, who is that? And it's Kali Ma. Kali Ma came to mind. Kali, the energy of karma. She's the mother of karma. And I believe she ended up having 2 sons, to be exact. And I literally have a tattoo, not to flick you guys off, of a K with a heart, but it's kind of like rubbed off underneath. And I got this when I was in high school, and I realized I guess my alter ego, the side of me that takes no shit, okay? Excuse me, burp for confirmation. And on my birth chart, my moon is in Capricorn and my sun is in Leo. So that is strong enough. I ain't even gotta say too much. And my Venus is on the cusp of Leo and Cancer. Yeah. And that's very fucking powerful. So, and you know, these were the top energies, the as above energies. So when I did my reading, this was the truth, okay? The world and the judgment at the top were my amplifying energies, those at the top, all right? And the rabbit, the ascended masters over the whole situation, calling out of the clouds. Like, I was literally, and the underlying energy was the Hanged Man, okay? All major arcana, y'all, and that is the only thing that came out. And then when I stopped shuffling the deck, I was like, Holy Spirit, is this true? Please show me my children and the truth behind it. And this is what it was. And it was the motherfucking moon. Do y'all know that the moon is literally lies, betrayals, secrets? Literally, hidden secrets, hidden truths, hidden occult, hidden knowledge, everything. And behind these 2 men who have been in my life manipulating shit are all their little minions who are going to be shriveled up oysters for working with them. And look at they look shriveled up their damn self. One's overweight, one, you know, the other one looks like a motherfucking bum. But I gotta tell y'all that when I told my children's father about, you know, me not wanting to be with him anymore, he had went through my phone one night while I was asleep and found old boy in my phone, and I don't even know what he did, but he just so happened to know everything that was going to happen in the future in regards to me and him, due to the fact that he thinks I don't know, but he manipulated the whole situation and has been, you know, manipulating things behind the scenes that's out of my control, that I don't even know that he was doing. Like, he knew, like, oh, and then when he came back to pick up my sons, he was like, who do you want to be with? Trying to be all in my business. And he was like, well, I'll tell you one thing, the one that you think is it, or that you were talking to, your new man. I was like, that's not my new man. I ain't got no man. Because, you know, we ghost each other, and he, you know, he had a nice car or whatever, but to me, it's not about the motherfucking car. It's about you as a person, how you carry yourself, and, you know, your mind. Like, can we accomplish, you know, a big shit together? And he, you know, my children's father was just hating. He was like, oh, he's broke. So I can only take that as physically broke, mentally broke. And me and old boy were supposed to link up in October, at the end of October, for Halloween, but we couldn't because he ended up getting on house arrest for shooting somebody. And come to find out, you know, we were supposed to link up together for Halloween, but he ended up choosing to go with his friends, and his friends have literally been using him since I first linked up with him and met him, and realized and kind of told him, like, your friends aren't really your friends, they're using you, but all right. And when I had met his friends with him was before he got on house arrest. So yeah, it was just a whole lot. And then underneath the moon, I had asked, how has my children's father affected this whole situation? How have they both affected me in my situation? Is this true? Like, I just kept asking Spirit, is this true? The Magician. Y'all, I can't make this shit up. I really the fuck cannot. The Magician is the number 1 deck, the first card in the deck, alright? It's the first major arcana. And if you look, so you can see the swords, which are the swords of truth that make up the butterfly. you have the sword of truth, you have the pentacle, you have the wand, and you have the cup. Okay, so all 4 elements of the major arcana, and this is somebody who's able to, I'm the magician, okay, and these people keep doing magic and spiritually attacking me and coming into my dreams and shit like that, because I'm the one true magician. I honestly don't even like dabble in the magic or anything like that to get what I need, because I know that it's all within me, and mentally I don't have to go and do spells upon people's lives and shit like that. And you know what, after that I was just like, okay, I'm tripping maybe so on this whole thing. So then I go pull from my Witch's Familiar deck, and the fucking Badger comes out. Persecution. I wanted to drop everything and run, but I'm like, where the fuck I'm finna run to? I don't run from shit, so let me just get this message out to the people. Y'all, persecution, execution, getting it done, this truth, the truth. Never run. We don't run where we come from. That's what I'm hearing. And just channeling the energy of the Badger, asking the Badger energy, asking the Badger spirit animal to assist you during this time. Holy Spirit, please allow the Badger's energy to assist me during this time. May they go ahead and work with those in the light and the criminal investigative side. May those who are in the negative energies of the criminal justice system, may they fall. May their pension compensation become those in the light who are working on these type of cases. I noticed I've been gang stalked, but that shit's kind of chilled out lately after I've called it out. But I wanted y'all to know, the Badger, abuse, torment, run and hide, and that was the feeling that I got. Like, I've been abused. I've been sexually abused. And let me tell you something. This is how I knew that a motherfucker was sedating me in my sleep. I have caught my children's father waving his hands over my eyes before to see like if I was completely asleep. And then he's also made comments and woken up and be like, you know, you sleep with your eyes open, right? Ha ha ha. And I'm like, okay, why are you watching me sleep if you're not in the bedroom with me going to sleep? All right. And I remember before I kicked him out, like the last couple of months, I was sleeping with him in the bed. I would wake up drowning in sweat. And this was God waking me up, my spirit guides, my ancestors, really trying to wake me up to what the fuck was going on. Like, I was sleeping next to the devil the whole time and I didn't fucking know it. Alright, abuse, torment, run and hide, emotional wounds to lick inside, confidence, strength, and self-belief, reclaimed power welcomes relief. I call upon the Badger to assist me and harness this power, so mote it be. The Familiar's foresight. Be grounded in your beliefs and don't allow others to uproot you. Speak your motherfucking truth, even if you are the only one doing so. So to all my people out there, I'm going to end up running ads on my channel, so that my messages can get out there a lot faster, because I know there are so many people who need to communicate with me. So my email is in the description box. Please feel free to email me if you want. Donations as well. Always highly appreciate it. You don't have to. It's not a requirement. But just know that I know that people who do donate to me and do send me money, and it can simply be like, it can even be gifts or tarot deck. I don't have a P.O. box yet, so not necessarily, but I do have an Amazon wish list. But way besides the point, to me it's not about the money, it's about the motherfucking message getting out, because I already know there's so many people out there who do not have the confidence to get out and speak their truth on this matter of the situation. And I've just been noticing that other readers have been picking up on bits and pieces of my life, and it's just kind of shocking, because it's like, yo, like, I don't sit and resonate with every single reading that I hear. I do not, force the situation to fit, and I do not drive myself crazy with it. I just listen to it, and if it resonates, it don't. If it don't, I let it go. Be bold and ferocious, never surrender. Shoulder your responsibilities and don't rely on others. The truth is about to be revealed. So the world is about to hear about this shit, okay? And let me tell you something. When I spoke, I'm gonna leave it on this note. When I spoke earlier about, my mom shaving me and my sister's head as a child, we had been told that it's because we had lice from the daycare that we were at. But as I'm getting older and I'm realizing my body has like automated responses. Like sometimes I'll just automatically give myself a thumbs up, or when I think something, my thumb will automatically go into a thumbs up, or your right side of your body is your spiritual side, and the left side is your side that houses logic and mind over matter. and this side is more so your heart, your spiritual side and stuff like that. And when I notice, like, sometimes I'm like, I'm being controlled, like sometimes I'll just be like, I'm being controlled, and then like my hand will automatically go into thumbs up, and that shit freaks me the fuck out, because I'm just like, what the fuck happened to me as a child, bro? And these people are, you know, I know that I've called them out for being in secret societies and shit like that, and it's just like, they don't want to tell me the truth, they don't want to speak on it or nothing like that, because they can't, because they took an oath not to snitch on themselves, or else, you know, they would die. So they didn't want to give up their lives, but they sacrificed their own motherfucking children into this shit. And I've been picking up that my stepdad wants to get a divorce from my mother, but he can't, because I don't know, because of me. But you know, wait, that's impossible. You're a grown-ass man, you can do whatever the fuck you want. I don't know, he's just been telling me that he needs my help and shit like that. And then when I was there, he was like, I'm trying to help you, but it was more so like a stare at me in my eyes and tell me that I'm trying to help you, and that's not help. Like, you need to say some real shit to try to help me, like, yeah. But the fact that they try to keep paying me as crazy is just even what makes it worse, because I'm just like, y'all got some issues and it's not me. And let me tell you something, I went to that, when I went to that psychiatric ward and they did my observation log, the whole time I was in there, I got nothing but straight ones. The straight ones was like, calm, nothing, like, why is she here? Okay, so then when I moved back to Las Vegas and my children's father picked them up, I had noticed that I had another spiritual upgrade, another spiritual awakening, a higher motherfucking DNA upgrade. And at this point, I'm just like, what is going on, y'all? And this is when I started seeing celebrities and shit in my motherfucking dreams. I seen old boy came first, and he was like in a little profile picture circle surrounded by gold and glittery things and like little puffs of orbs of light and stuff like that. And right after that was another man who owns a business and stuff out here in Las Vegas. But after that, it was Chris Brown on the left and it was Drake on the right, and they were both in the same bubble. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, it was kind of like a competition to see, like, can you bypass this one? Can you bypass this one to get to this one? And I'm just like, I don't want none of these motherfuckers. Like, I already said, like, if Drake ever came in my presence, I would probably pass him to my sister. Like, and I said this years ago, not even knowing, like, what was going on. So I'm just very spiritually tapped in, and it almost literally freaks me out sometimes, but not really. I'm comfortable in my spirituality, and I'm comfortable with the level of knowledge that I have. There was something I was going to speak on. Oh, so he picks up my children's father. My children's father picks him up, right? And I go through this awakening again, and I'm telling y'all, the telepathy kicked in, and that shit really really fucked me up, like, at first. And I was just like, you know, because I was trying to cope with it, because it just hit me all at once, and I was just like, yo, like, turn this shit off. Like, how the fuck do I control this? Like, is there a crystal to help me calm the voices down, or whatever the fuck? So I go see another psychiatrist out here in Las Vegas, and these motherfuckers check me into a motherfucking psychiatric hold, and they end up keeping me there for 2 weeks. And while I was in there, every single person that worked there that would come and talk to me, they're just like, girl, why are you here? You are, like, too smart to be here, compared to everybody else that was in there. And not even comparing myself, they compared me to everybody else that was in there. Like, there was people in there with Tourette's, like, people that really needed to be in there were in there. And while I was in there, I was having even more vivid dreams. Like, I went to sleep one night, and the girl that was laying next to me in her bed, I had seen, like, this all black being with wings sit, like, here was my bed, here was her bed, here was the bathroom, and on the opposite side with her was like this this little storage where you put, like, your snacks, and it's like a little shelf where you put the water and stuff. She was laying in her bed, but she was laying on her back, and she was laying on her back, and she had her knees up, like laying on her back, but your knees were up. I don't know how to explain it. You know, your feet are flat on the ground like this, okay, and her whole back is right here, and here's her head. So she starts kicking her legs like this. She's like, somebody's in here, somebody's in here, somebody's in here. And I'm just like, girl, how you tapped into seeing this nigga too? What the fuck? Like, she was asleep, and I seen in my sleep, like, this whole black, it's not an angel. It's trying to get me saying angel, but I rebuke in the name of Jesus Christ. It was a dark angel? Like, no, it's not an angel. Not an angel. I don't believe it was an angel. It had wings, but it's an all black being. And it sat down in between her bed and the storage unit, closet thing. It was like a closet with no doors. And it sat, she was in the bed here, there's the ground, here's the closet on the wall. It sat right here by her, up against the wall, by her head, and just like pulled its knees up together, almost as if it was babysitting her, or protecting my energy from her. And I'm like, is this my avenging angel? What is going on? I don't believe that avenging angels are, straight black, all black. Like, that ain't right. And y'all, woo, I'm telling y'all, they had me on, and it's not even the medication. Like, that, doctors try to give you medication just so that they can make money off your insurance, and on the back end, the more pills they give you, the more money they make. But I'm telling y'all, I was passing all my interviews and all that shit perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with me, nothing that they found in my blood test, nothing. So they're like, literally everybody's asking me, why are you here? Why are you here? Like, why the fuck did you come here? And I'm just like, y'all, I was hearing voices. Like, I don't know what to tell y'all. But they're like, and I was like, well, I'm spiritual, and it's just, a thing. And I can't help the things that I see. These are the things that God wants me to see and wants me to speak on. So as I've been figuring out, like, my calling, like, I'm literally a vivid fucking seer who just, that's my calling, is to literally make these videos and talk to you about what the fuck I see. And as I was in there, everybody's just looking at me like, when are you getting out of here? So it was just one of those it was a very crazy, surreal experience. And when I got out, I was just like, what the hell is going on? And I've just been noticing, like, certain family members will call me, just check on me, just to see what I'm doing, and it's not been very much help. And when I got out, I was being guided to go to the FBI and talk to the FBI, but I did that, but there wasn't really no help. So, these people in these forces, they don't really care, and they don't really truly help seek aid for those who are spiritual, because, I just have a feeling like when they sign up for these jobs, they can't, emotions are taken out of a job. I won't even call them emotions, but like, people, like, these people who are in these judicial and criminal investigative positions, little do they know that they take oath even by the Bible, especially judges in the courthouse. They take oath on the Bible and don't even realize the shit that happens in the Bible is literally spirituality. And, I've just been praying for these people, especially those who are in the light and in these systems. May they continue to do what's right. May they start oppressing and holding the people accountable who do the dirty work, who are the dirty lawyers, all of that. May all the people who are in the system and who have gone there and that are dirty, may they be rebuked in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. May they, fall to the demise that they have set for people of the light and people who are of the righteous parties. And I'm gonna just leave it there. This video is like an hour long already, and I just highly appreciate you guys tapping in, tuning in. But this was a true life testimony, and it covered about 5 years in total. And the fact that all major arcana, and I'm getting enough motherfucking chills again, but the fact that only all major arcana came out really just speaks for itself. It's the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth. And there's nothing else I can do besides, make sure I got shit right on my end. And I've just been heavily guided to give you guys this message because I've been holding it in for so long. If you relate, please feel free to leave a comment. Definitely send me an email if you prefer to keep it private. I definitely highly would enjoy speaking with you. And I've just seen the signs. I've paid attention to the divine, the energies in which have been sent to me. So at this time, I'm going to leave it here, and I hope you all have a grand morning, grand morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're at. Maybe you'll be back, maybe not. I know it's a lot much bigger than that. So I pray that all my other readers are able to tap into this energy, help me, help you. Yeah, help me, help you, help them. May we also collectively come together and start doing collaborations. May we collectively start coming together to expose the truth. May all of the psychics who have been jeopardized and put in jeopardy at the hands of their parents, may the truth about that situation come through. May the ones who have been oppressed by their own family, may they seek the what is it called, reparations that they deserve, the impunitive damages, the emotional abuse damages, all that. And on that end, I'm gonna leave you with love and light, because that's just what's right. Much love to you all, and may your avenging angels help you fight at night. Bye.